Welcome to you all, and thank you for joining us on this first Sunday of Advent 2020. My name is Renate Weber, host for today's celebration. 2020 has been a year not quite like any other. We Victorians have been locked down for so much of it, so it is exciting to experience some freedoms, which in years past we just took for granted. We're being bold this year. For the first time, we are Zooming live with Sydney, so we have all our communities joining in to the same event. So welcome Bentley, Bayswater, Meadowbank, residents of TTHA, and all those of you who are watching from home. Herzlich willkommen. You are in for a wonderful afternoon of stories and musical items. It's lovely to see new faces and some of our treasured older members accompanied by friends and family. This first Advent heralds the end of the year approaching. It is the time Christians celebrate Jesus' birth as the light of the world. The candle flame flickers on the Advent wreath and sheds its light into the darkness. As each Sunday passes, the light becomes brighter as another candle is lit. We take time to remember with love all those who are no longer here to celebrate with us. For some of you, it will be your first Christmas without them. But their memories are treasured and shared with love. Templar tradition sets aside the first Sunday of Advent for a time of reflection, sharing, listening to stories and poems, enjoying afternoon tea, but unfortunately, no joyous communal singing. I hope you enjoy the treats we have lovingly prepared for you.
Advent, Advent, ein Lichtlein brennt. Erst eins, dann zwei, dann drei, dann vier. Dann steht das Christkind vor der Tür. Advent, Advent, a candle glows. First one, then two, then three, then four, and then the Christ child's at the door.
Light the candle of hope. Hope for the hopeless and hope for the lost, no matter the price, whatever the cost. Hope that's a certainty, hope that is sure. Though the earth is shaken, I am secure. Light the candle of peace. Peace, all other peace transcending, peace eternal and unending. Peace that passes all understanding, peace so perfect and undemanding. Light the candle of joy. The candle is burning, the flame is bright, and joy floods my soul with great delight. Joy unspeakable, full of glory, as remembered in the Christmas story. Light the candle of love. The candle of God's love burns bright, brightening up the darkest night. Earthly things become divine, though the love that's shown at Christmas time.
just as sure as hearts that are pure are hearts set free. No man must stand alone with outstretched hand before him. Come sing a song of joy, of freedom, tell the story. Sing, sing a song of joy for mankind in his glory. One mighty voice that will bring a sound that will ring forevermore. Then sing a song of joy for love and understanding. Come, sing a song of joy, for peace shall come, my brother. Sing, sing a song of joy, for men shall love each other. One mighty voice that will bring a sound that will ring forevermore. Then sing a song of joy for love and understanding.
Advent in Australia. As we celebrate Advent in Australia, we are often drawn to the German stories of the coming Christmas season. We hear the rustle of autumn leaves, stories around warm fires, hot chocolate, hope of snowflakes falling, and the smell of Christmas baking. This got me thinking about our Australian counterpart. What do we associate with Advent and Christmas? Summer holidays, the beach, the days are heating up. We need to water our tomatoes every evening. There is that wonderful smell when a thunderstorm and big splats of rain come after a scorching day, and the earth feels renewed and refreshed. Some areas up north are flooded by monsoonal rains, and the danger from bushfires is ever present. Last summer, we had days when the atmosphere was filled with smoke from unprecedented bushfires, which blazed across our nation. We look forward to beach days, the salty smell of the ocean, and our sunscreen, 50 plus, of course. The roses are out in full bloom, perfuming the garden as we water the veggie patch at dusk. Who wants some zucchinis? I have so many. The apricot tree will need netting soon to stop the possums from eating the whole crop. The mozzies are joining in the serenade and give us the occasional sting to remind us to tip out our stagnant water. While we are halfway across the world from our German heritage and traditions, we still practice a lot of them. The live Christmas tree. Some use pine trees bought from the Scouts. My blue spruce is carefully nurtured in its pot from one year to the next. The soft new shoots are much paler blue as they pop their protective covers in time for Christmas. There are families still using real Christmas candles, and the candle holders are handled down from Oma. Glühwein and hot chocolate smell the same all around the world, but we're more likely to crack a tinny of cold beer or pop the cork and enjoy the bubbles from a frosted glass of sparkling wine. or a lemon squash. Iced coffee is also a special treat. The baking smells, however, are often the same as in Germany. The wonderful aroma of cinnamon and spices, vanilla essence, or Vanillenzucker are my favourites. I often choose my baking day according to the weather. If the temperature is about 22, that's a good day to bake. Of course, it would not be Christmas in Australia if we didn't smell the gum trees, especially the lemon-scented gums, shedding their wonderful lemony eucalyptus aroma as we go on early morning or late evening walks. Before falling exhausted into our beds, we might have a quick dip in the pool or a cool shower if it's been a very hot day. It doesn't matter which country we celebrate Advent in, it is special that we can share and keep those traditions which keep us in touch with our heritage, as well as incorporate our Aussie ones.
Each December, I vowed to make Christmas a calm and peaceful experience. I'd cut back on non-essential obligations, extensive card writing, endless baking, decorating, and even overspending. Yet still, I found myself exhausted, unable to appreciate the precious family moments and, of course, the true meaning of Christmas. My son, Nicholas, was in kindergarten that year. It was an exciting season for a 6-year-old. For weeks, he'd been memorizing his songs for the winter pageant. I didn't have the heart to tell him I'd be working the night of the production. Unwilling to miss his shining moment, I spoke with his teacher. She assured me there'd be a dress rehearsal the morning of the presentation. All parents unable to attend the evening were welcome to come then. So, the morning of the dress rehearsal, I filed in 10 minutes early, found a spot on the cafeteria floor, and sat down. Around the room, I saw several other parents quietly scampering to their seats. As I waited, the students were led into the room. Each class, accompanied by their teacher, sat cross-legged on the floor. Then, each group, one by one, rose to perform their song. Because the public school system had long stopped referring to the holidays as Christmas, I didn't expect anything other than fun, commercial entertainment, songs of reindeer, Santa Claus, snowflakes, and good cheer. So when my son's class rose to sing Christmas Love, I was slightly taken aback by its bold title. Nicholas was aglow, as were all of his classmates, adorned in fuzzy mittens, red sweaters, and with bright snow caps upon their heads. Those in the front row, centre stage, held up large letters, one by one, to spell out the title of the song. As the class would sing C is for Christmas, a child would hold up the letter C, then H is for happy, and so on until they presented the complete message. The performance was going smoothly until suddenly we noticed her, a small, quiet girl in the front row holding the letter M upside down, totally unaware her letter appeared as a W. The audience of 1st through 6th graders snickered at this little one's mistake, but she had no idea they were laughing at her, so she stood tall, proudly holding her W. Although many teachers tried to shush the children, the laughter continued until the last letter was raised and we all saw it together. A hush came over the audience and eyes began to widen. In that instant, we understood the reason we were there, why we celebrated the holiday in the first place, why even in the chaos, there was a purpose for our festivities. For when the last letter was held high, the message read loud and clear: Christ was love. And I believe he still is.
Am Weihnachtsbaum die Lichter brennen, wie glänzt er festlich, lieb und mild, als sprech er wollt in mir erkennen, getreue Hoffnung, stilles Bild. Die Kinder stehen mit hellen Blicken, das Auge lacht, es lacht das Herz. O fröhlich seliges Entzücken, die Alte schauen himmelwärts. 2 Engel sind hereingetreten, kein Auge hat sie kommen sehen. Sie gehen zum Weihnachtsbaum und beten und wenden wieder sich und gehen.
Die Adventsternlein. 4 kleine Sterne am Himmelszelt hängen hoch über der ganzen Welt. Der Mond bemerkt mit großer Freude: Ihr leuchtet aber strahlend heute. Das erste spricht: Mein Herze strahlt mit Hoffnung für die Menschenzahl. Das zweite sagt: Mein Herze lacht mit Liebe leuchtend durch die Nacht. Das dritte lacht mit goldenem Schein. Glaube beleuchtet das Herze mein. Das vierte spricht: Ich höre niemals auf, denn mein Herz strahlt ewig Frieden aus. The Advent Stars. 4 little stars hang in the sky, way above the world so high. The moon remarks with great delight, You 4 are shining extra bright. The first replies, My heart's aglow with hope for all mankind to grow. The second says, My heart's alight with love that shines throughout the night. The third remarks with golden shine, It's faith that lights this heart of mine. The fourth says, My radiance will never cease, for my heart sends out everlasting peace.
Our family. Our family is like a patchwork quilt with kindness gently sewn, each piece original, with beauty all its own. With threads of warmth and happiness, it's lightly stitched together, to last in love throughout the years. Our family is forever. There was a poor woodcutter who worked hard to make his ends meet and earn his daily bread. He had a loving wife and two lovely children called Valentine and Mary. All of them helped him in his work, were obedient to him, and were pious in nature. They read the Bible daily, even on days when they had nothing or very little to eat. Once they were going through this particular daily ritual, somebody knocked on the door. It was a little child suffering from cold and hunger. They pitied him and immediately took him inside their small home. It was a little child. Both the children offered him a piece near the fire to keep him warm and a portion of their bread. Since he seemed very tired, they offered him their bed too, while they slept on the bench in great discomfort throughout the night.
The stranger child thanked them for their kindness and soon fell asleep. The family prayed for the poor child, who had even less than they had. They could only fall asleep late at night, but little Marie was woken up in the wee houses of the morning by sweet musical sound of harps and singing that seemed almost divine. She gently woke up her brother, Valentine, and together they listened to the notes and realized that it was the angels singing for the Christ child. The child they had played host to a window and saw the most beautiful dawn break in a number of little children, holding golden harps and lutes dressed in sparkling silver robes.
The brother and the sister turned round to see the stranger child standing behind them, wearing golden robes and a golden crown. He told them that he was indeed Christ's child, and wandered around to give good things and joys to loving children. Since they had been so unselfish and helpful, he gave them his blessing and took a bough from a nearby fir tree and planted it in the ground. He told them that this branch would soon grow up to give them Christmas fruits every year. The Christ child then vanished, leaving the children overwhelmed with what they had seen and heard. Soon the fir branch grew into a high and stately Christmas tree that bore golden apples, silver nuts, and lovely toys on every Christmas Eve. Hence, it said that it is in remembrance and anticipation of the Christ child that the Christmas tree is decorated every year.
Sweet was the song the Virgin sang when she to Bethlehem Judea came. She was delivered of a son, that blessed babe she was to name. Lula, 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 lullaby. Lula, Lula, Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, your leaves stay green, unchanging. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, your leaves stay green, unchanging. Not only green when summer's here, but also when it's cold and drear. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, your leaves stay green, unchanging. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, much pleasure you can give us. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, much pleasure you can give us. How often has a Christmas tree afforded me the greatest glee? Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, much pleasure you can give us. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, your green limbs teach a lesson. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, your green limbs teach a lesson. That constancy and faithful cheer are gifts to cherish all the year. Oh Christmas tree, oh Christmas tree, your green limbs teach us all.
A teacher in a small school noticed that young Matthew had started staying back after school and helping tidy up the room. He did this quietly, enjoying the solitude. When he did talk, Matthew spoke mostly of his mother. Matthew was a 10-year-old orphan who lived with his aunt, a bitter middle-aged woman greatly annoyed by the burden of caring for her dead sister's son. She continually reminded young Matthew that, if it wasn't for her generosity, he would be homeless. In spite of this, he was a sweet and gentle child.
As Christmas drew near, the teacher noticed that Matthew no longer stayed after school. Finally, she asked why, since she really missed his company. With that, his large brown eyes lit up, and he replied, "Did you really miss me?" The teacher explained how he had been her best helper. "I was making you a surprise," he whispered confidentially. "It's for Christmas." With that, he became embarrassed and dashed away.
Finally, the last school day before Christmas arrived. Matthew crept slowly into the room late that afternoon, with his hands concealing something behind his back. "I have your present," he said timidly. "I hope you like it." In the palms of his hands was a tiny wooden box. "It's beautiful, Matthew. Is there something in it?" the teacher asked, opening the top to look inside. "Oh, you can't see what's in it," he replied, "and you can't touch it or taste it or feel it. But Mama always said that it makes you feel good all the time. Warm on cold nights and safe when you're all alone."
The teacher gazed into the empty box. "What is it, Matthew, that will make me feel so good?" "It's love," he whispered softly, "and Mama always said it's best when you give it away." He turned and quietly left the room.
The small box, crudely made of scraps of wood, sits on the piano in the teacher's living room and brings a smile to her face. When friends ask about it, she tells them that it contains love. Yes, Christmas is for gaiety, fun, song, and for good and wondrous gifts, but mostly Christmas is for love.
Ihr Kindlein, kommet doch all, zur Krippe herkommet in Bethlehem Stall, und seht, was in dieser hochheiligen Nacht der Vater im Himmel für Freude uns macht. O
Ben's Christmas wish. Jenny had moved out of home and at 20 years of age felt cool and independent. She was not excited by Christmas, nor by the prospect of spending Christmas Eve with her parents, which she found stressful. She felt overwhelmed when they showered her with food and kindness. For her workplace Christmas party on the 23rd of December, she dressed as the Christkind. White dress, 2 small golden wings, a golden halo on her blonde curls. Her outfit was a huge hit with her colleagues, and even later at the all-night disco they attended afterwards. They had breakfast at a cafe and left, tired but still laughing, around 9 a.m. to go home. With her wings tucked snugly under her warm white down jacket, she set off down the street, admiring the bright Christmas decorations in the windows of the houses. One house in particular stood out, not for its beautiful decorations, but because it had no decorations at all. As she passed it, she could not help noticing the young boy standing by the door, looking sad. When he saw Jenny, a huge smile lit up his face, so she stopped. "What are you doing out so early?" Jenny asked. The boy replied that he was waiting for his babysitter to arrive. Cautiously, he asked her, "Are you the Christkind?" Jenny realised she was still wearing her Christkind outfit and was just about to explain when the boy grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the house. "Wait a moment," Jenny said. "Where are your parents?" "They left early for the office," he replied. "Their work means everything to them, and I'm sure it'll be late by the time they get home, and they will have forgotten your coming tonight." Very seriously, he added, "The tree is still in the cellar and won't even be ready when you arrive tonight." With a sinking feeling, it dawned on Jenny that the boy really believed she was the Christkind. "What am I to do now? Fine mess I've got myself into. Think fast." She put on her best smile and asked, "What's your name?" "I'm Ben and I'm 6 years old," he replied, holding up 6 fingers. "Listen, Ben, you know that today is my busiest day, but I think I can spare a few moments to help you put up the Christmas tree." Ben nodded enthusiastically and pulled her into the house. Expensive furniture, everything clinically clean, but the atmosphere was cold and uncomfortable. She slipped off her jacket, straightened out her wings, and followed Ben into the cellar. Together, they carried the tree and the crate of decorations upstairs. Trying to ignore her aching head, Jenny and Ben wrestled the tree into its stand and decorated it with the most beautiful glass baubles and straw stars from the crate. Ben put on a CD and the sound of kling glöckchen kling-a-ling-a-ling ran through the room. Jenny could not help but smile as she saw his face light up. Now she knew what it meant to see children's eyes light up in front of the Christmas tree. "I already know what you are bringing me this evening," said Ben. "I'm getting lots of toys, a bike, an iPhone, and books. But you know that." "You're getting all these things, yet you don't seem excited," remarked Jenny. The smile vanished and Ben lowered his head and saying quietly, "What I really want is that my mum and dad have more time for me. They're always at work." And when they do come home, they're so tired. I'm sure the same thing will happen tonight. Jenny, struck by this comment, kneeled down by the boy and said, Ben, let your parents know what you really want and tell them from me that there is nothing more beautiful and valuable than having time for each other. No toy in the world can give you so much pleasure. Do you understand? Yes, said Ben. I'll tell them that this is your wish too. Right, Ben, Christmas is a time when people get together and listen to each other and are there for one another. That is what the Christkind wants most. They gazed proudly at the tree they had decorated together. Now, don't go lighting the candles till your parents come home. Jenny put on her jacket, made her way to the door, only to be met by a young girl with bright pink hair and headphones, who stopped dead in her tracks, shocked. Don't worry, said Jenny with a cheeky smile. I'm the Christkind. She turned to Ben and said, I'm sure your parents will fulfill your wish. You just have to believe it. I'll do that for sure, dear Christkind, and thanks, Ben replied. Jenny gave him a big hug and said, see you soon. Happy Christmas, Ben. She left and hurried back to her flat. Suddenly she longed for her parents to give her so much love, warmth, who gave her so much love, warmth and security. That's how Christmas should be, she thought, and hoped little Ben's wish would be fulfilled.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the earth, the Saviour reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sounding joy, repeat the sounding joy, repeat, repeat the sounding joy. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, and wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders, wonders of his love.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
A prayer for this first Sunday in Advent. We give thanks for life and for our abundant blessings despite the challenges of the COVID pandemic. We give thanks for the warmth and connection of family, friends, and our community. Thanks for our earth, for its air and water and the environment that sustain us. Our thoughts go to those suffering, and we remember those who have passed on and those who miss them. May we experience deeply the light, love, peace, and joy of the Advent and Christmas season and share it with a smile. May we be people of goodwill, mindful of our responsibility as temples of the Divine Spirit, to strive to be the best that we can be and to make the world a better place. Let us practice loving kindness and grant ourselves and each other the space and the rest to make thoughtful behavior possible. Herr, lass den Glanz der Weihnacht in alle Dunkelheit dringen. So may we have a happy and a holy Christmas. Amen.
I would like to give you a calendar for Advent, in which, hidden behind little doors, there is something that everybody needs and knows. Behind the first door would be understanding, behind the second, fantasy, behind the third, humour, and then behind the fourth, a portion of euphoria. Behind the fifth door, you will find hope. Behind the sixth, a lot of time. Behind the seventh, you will discover security. In the eighth door are fun and delight. And in the ninth is confidence. Hidden behind the 10th are strength and power. In the 11th, good luck. And in the 12th is light. Behind the 13th door is faith. At the 14th, you will find humanity. At the 15th, consolation. At the 16th, peace. Behind the 17th, togetherness. At the 18th, you will find good thoughts. At the 19th, respect for people and animals. At the 20th, help. Nearly everything has been opened. There are only 4 more doors to go. Behind the 21st is friendship. At the 22nd, tolerance. At the 23rd, inner peace. At the 24th, radiates the Christmas tree in all its glory. Behind the door on Christmas Eve, there are no presents. No wealth or money are behind this door. There is love, the greatest and most important gift on earth. I would like to give you this calendar for Advent, but you must search for them yourself, all the things that each person needs and knows.
Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, alles schläft, einsam wacht, nur das traute hochheilige Paar, holde Knabe im lockigen Haar, schlaf in himmlischer Ruhe. Christe Resurresta, Christe Resurresta. Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, Gottes Sohn, wie lacht aus deinem göttlichen Mund, da uns schlägt die rettende Stund, Christ in deine Geburt, Christ in deine Geburt.
Thank yous. At the end of this Advent celebration, we need to acknowledge gratitude and thanks to so many for their musical, technical, and creative skills. Community members of all ages contributed to today's program. Again, it has been a huge team effort. Monika Strasser and her brother Ralf are the bass notes of the musical presentations, with piano playing, singing, and sound mixing. Monika Strasser, Ingrid Turner, and Anja Leschinsky added their soprano voices. Ellie Glenk, Kath Shelley, and the Templar Choir, consisting of Ingrid Turner, Anita Cross, Helga Jürgensen, Inki Arndt, Monika Strasser, Christine Wagner and her two little girls, Sophie Kruk and Bridget Kruk, Renate Beilharz and Annette Wagner-Hesse also sang. Doris Frank, Susie Richter, Irene Buzo and Kath Shelley were adult readers. Declan, Lockie and Jaden were the 11-year-old boys, and we could see that for some of them, some of the words were very hard to get out. The young adult readers were Nikita Bulach, Dan Liu and Jasmine Kirchner, with Tim Wolf and Jessica Kempner. Kath Shelley and the playgroup with Sharon Need presented The Christmas Mistake. Trey, with Monica Herman, played piano for us, and didn't she brighten our lives with her little hello? Krista Imberger arranged and played the opening melody. The male voices were Fred Decker, Rolf Glenk, and Tony Beilharz. Gabriella and Ariel Weber read and lit the Advent candles and read Our Family. Hatta Ulher wrote and read a prayer. Behind the scenes were Doris Frank and Nana Hellman organising the physical event, afternoon tea, ringing people to invite. Martina gave us advice, as did Jan and Michelle in Sydney. The ladies helping with afternoon tea are Doris Frank, Gerda Knob, Helga Anderson, Diana Imberger, and Susie Richter. We did have technical help from our caretaker team, Heinz Vollmer, Tony Beilharz, and Rolf Glenk. And I did hear Peter Leschinsky's voice in the background in Sydney, so thank you, Peter, for helping make it all work in our sister community. Finally, and most importantly, Ange and Kath. Ange, you are our tech angel. This time you have woven your Advent magic for us to enjoy. Kath organised all our youth presenters. Thank you all for your hard work to make this unique presentation so good. It takes many hours to bring an event such as this together. So a big round of applause, please, and they will be able to hear you. So can we give them a big clap? I hope you enjoy the rest of this first Sunday of Advent. Thank you all for coming and listening, Zooming and sharing with us.